Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, well, just before we get on with some gameplay, I thought I would talk about the build of Suyohin, of course. Now, I've done testing on both the weapon and the new character, and yeah, I'm happy. Fair play, developers. Fair freaking play. We have got an update where it's all about DPS, and yeah, they are bringing in the DPS. Let me tell you, but we'll get onto that on a separate video for them. So this is the current situation where I've got the character. There's a little bit more I can do to buffer up to make her stronger, but I'll leave it as is, of course. So just quickly go through the weapon. So it increases the user's defense penetration by 10%, increases the damage of core attack, kill shot, and hellfire by 20%. If you max her out, then it goes to 24% and 12%. The reason why I'm not maxing it out is because I get if you do the logins, you get given a weapon. So rather than me wasting resources and materials, I'm just gonna wait till I get the weapon gifted to me through the login, so that way that's how I'll get it to +5. I'm not too bothered about going furthermore and getting it into like double +5, but yeah, I'm just gonna leave it as is. So yeah, 20%, 10%, that's more than enough. We can rock with that. So there's that. Skills, I'm just kind of left it as is, 7, 7, 7. I was trying to get the core attack to 7, but it's fine. She does hit hard, boys. Well, she does hit hard. So having her and Choi together, that is some firepower, pun intended. Now, let's talk about artifacts, let's talk about builds. Now, I already done a pre-build talking about her with the key information that I had beforehand, and I want to say that it's still valid. If you decided to go through that video and go about building her that way ahead of time, it's still valid, it's still usable, it's still doable. So as of right now, as you guys can see, I'm making use of the curse set and the armed set, which is doable, it is usable, perfectly fine. But there are other ways to go about also building her up if you choose to use other artifacts, because maybe you might have other stats, other better stats for other artifacts, of course. So we'll go through that in just a second. But I want to go through stats so that we're aware on making it so that we're not making any mistakes. We're picking the right stats. So the game itself advises defense, pen, attack, and critical hit rate. I would have said damage increase rather than crit rate, but I mean it still stands, it's still valid, so it is what it is. If you get either or, again, it's completely fine. As long as you're catering to the damage and the offensive power for her, then you're chilling. So I'll go individually and then we'll talk about sets. So obviously with the head, the main stat you want attack, and then when it comes to substats, again, you really want to cater to like defense pen. Defense pen is very, very important. I'm just going to put that out there. That's one of the stats that you want to make sure. So right now I'm at 23.84%. So I'm going to hope and pray I can get that up a little bit more. So the helmet main stat has to be attack, and then substats, again, you want to cater to the offensiveness. If you can get like additional MP or MP, preferably MP consumption reduction or damage reduction, preferably those that are outside of being an offensive stats, then that's a-okay. It's not horrible, like it's not bad. That is what I would say is kind of suitable to have whilst involving, so like for example having that defense stat and an additional MP, I would much rather that be like additional attack or defense pen. God damn it, my phone. Anyway, so that's kind of that. Obviously when it comes to the chest piece, this right here is perfect. This right here is literally what you're looking for. There's nothing more I can say. And again, this is why I ran with the armed set, is because I've got defense penetration set with +4. So it's meant to be. It's meant to be. With the hand set, defense pen, damage increase, MP consumption reduction, attack. So pretty solid. I would have hoped for the pluses to go to defense pen, but that's a-okay. Again, this is pretty solid. I mean, if crit rate was also involved rather than damage increase, that is also would have been suitable. But overall, this is valid. So again, this is something that you want to really cater to. And then obviously when it comes to the boots, main stat, defense penetration, and then try your absolute best to kind of feed through the substats in helping you out with the offensiveness. So unfortunately, I don't have anything to do with, well, I was trying to link up having attack and defense pen, but yeah, this isn't bad. Damage reduction isn't bad to have. Additional MP, I mean, that's I would have preferred it to be something else, but it is what it is. So, and I managed to get it all across the board, but I could do better. But it just comes down to farming and getting defense penetration as main stat. That is key. That is key. Okay. So that's kind of like the gear stats and what you're looking for. In terms of the accessory side of things, obviously it's always going to be additional HP, same as usual. Now obviously with the accessory sides, you're going to be having to cater to critical hit damage. I don't have critical hit damage. I've just noticed that. But then again, when it came to me building her, I really wasn't focusing too much on going down that route of the crit side of things, which I might consider doing. But as you guys can see, attack damage increase, and MP consumption reduction. Again, this is pretty solid to have. Obviously, fire damage is going to be advisable because she's a fire unit. I mean, duh. And then, yeah, so defense pen, damage increase. Unfortunately, I don't have anything with attack right now, along with defense pen for fire. So this is the best that I got so far. When it comes to the ring piece, I know it's awkward. What is going on? I just stuck on the curse set, but again, there are alternative gear sets that I'm gonna go with. But yeah, the boost and obviously the stat increase that I'm getting is pretty decent. So the main stat you want is attack, not HP. Again, just yeah. And then yeah, I mean this is not too bad. I mean critical hit damage is there, defense pen of course. Damage reduction, again, that +2 was a bit of a pain in the ass, but it is what it is. But yeah, you guys get the idea in terms of what sub-stats we're looking for. And then the earrings will always be additional MP. Attack, I mean, look, realistically, if you can get attack and defense pen together, that's solid. So yeah, this was pretty nice to have. But there we go, yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of going through each artifact and stats that we're looking at. So, in terms of artifacts, what are we looking at? What are the best choices? So clearly the armed choice is one of the best ones, purely because with the armed set, as you guys can see, when attacking, the user ignores 15% of the target's defense. That's beautiful. That's beautifully set up for her when it comes to doing the attack, penetrating the enemy's defense, and then having a set that works and caters to that. So the arm set is actually picture perfect. So if you do have anything from the arm set cooking, stick that on her, of course. So that is pretty set to have. Now again, it really comes down to what stats you have and whatnot. So again, the curse set is, as of right now, since they haven't introduced the level 70 75 sets of the artifacts, the curse set being the newer set is always going to be advisable, since it is the higher end of catering to DPS characters with more stats and more more power level, of course. So I mean, to be honest, I could technically get something cooking for her with the curse set. Do I have defense pen? Okay. Oh, why is healing there? Okay, that ruins everything. Okay, well, yeah. So the curse set is clearly just, yeah, kind of universally right now advisable. If you are trying to get the high end for your DPS characters, in terms of increase in stats as well as total power level, just an FYI. So yeah, so arm set, burning curse, and if you want to, I'm probably not going to. So the two other sets that I'm kind of like, if you want to, you can do so. You've got the solid foundation set, and then you've got the toughness set. So obviously, with the slight little core play that Suyon has, I mean, you can cater to it. I mean, of course, you would have to apply the force set. So it is an option, but I would say it's kind of like fourth on the list. I would say curse. Actually, well, you know, curse will be first because it's providing you with more stats and again providing you with total power level. If the armed set was already available at level 70 to 75, then I would say armed first. But then in this case, we'll put it second because it's lower level. Then I would say toughness. Then I would say solid foundation. All right. So yeah, toughness is also an option, since if you are going to be catering to the crit side of things, you can furthermore support that with the toughness set. So there's that. So yeah, that's kind of how that's working in terms of the gear side of things. Accessory side of things. So once again, if you are again, the Burning Curse is very optimal for DPS characters. It's an 8 set, so if you want to apply the 4 set onto the accessory side while using the arm set or the toughness set or the solid foundation set on the left side, please do so. That's kind of what I'm doing, but I might switch it up just a tad bit. Outside of that, I mean, if the crit is up quite decently, Champion of Field is an option. So of course okay, where am I going with this? Let's get out of here. So with the Champion of Field, of course, so the attack increase effect can now stack up to 4 instances, and that's by you landing a crit. So if your crit is decently well enough, then I would say having the Champion of the Field wouldn't be a bad idea to get that attack increase. So that's one accessories, of course. As per usual, the Executioner set. This is kind of, again, universal, to where if the enemy's HP is 70% or less, then you get that 20% increase. And with Suhyun, of course, that's kind of picture perfect in terms of her being a ranged character and just dealing an absurd amount of damage. So there's that. So that's something that you can quite easily go for if you choose to. What other sets can you run? I mean, nah, I wouldn't go for the expert set. I probably wouldn't advise that, to be honest. I mean, technically speaking, you could, but I mean, yeah, it's much better sets to go with. Concentration Firepower is an option too, not to be slept on. Again, you can choose to go for this, so it increases the user's skill MP consumption rate by 20%, but increases the user's damage dealt by 5% and decreases the user's basic skill cooldown by 5%. Yeah, if you want to get this going, you can do so. I will say her skill 2 hits like a double-decker bus on steroids. It hits really freaking hard. So yeah, the Concentration of Firepower is not a bad accessory set to kind of sleep on, but at the end of the day, it comes down to what stats you have for each of those accessory sets, of course. So yeah, either or will work, either or will work. So yeah, these are kind of like the sets that you can quite easily comfortably put on Suhyun, of course. And again, it correlates quite nicely between each of the artifacts that I specified, being the Burning Curse, arm set, toughness. I'm having real bad second thoughts about Solid Foundation, to be honest, but it's an option. At the end of the day, it is an option. But I'm having second thoughts. But anyway, yeah. So there we go. So that's kind of like the best suited sets that I would advise for you to apply onto Suhyun, depending on, again, once again, depending on what stats and substats you've got cooking up.